Happy Mother's Day. I love you.
Happy Mother's Day
To the best mama ever.
Hey Mom, I was able to sneak away at work for a second and wanted to record this and tell you Happy Mother's Day. Thank you so much for all the love and support that you've given me throughout the years, helping me pursue my dreams. I love you. Hope you have a wonderful day.
Happy Mother's Day to the best mom ever.
Happy Mother's Day. We love you.
To the greatest mother of all time, Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. We love you.
We miss you.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Mother's Day to you, and a very special Happy Mother's Day to my mom. I love you, Mom. Look, we are so glad that you guys have joined us here at Journey Church Online today. Do me a favor, if you would, drop a comment in the comment section with just emojis, just one single emoji that reminds you of your mom. Go ahead, do that now. And if it's your first time with us today here at Journey Church Online, we just want to say welcome, and we are so glad that you've decided to spend a few moments with us this morning. Man, we just want to say thank you to everybody who helps support Journey Church and our mission to help people take their next step towards Jesus. It's your funds that you give each and every week that help us to accomplish that mission. And if you're looking for somewhere where you can give, you can go to ourjourney.com and go to the giving section to find out everything you need to know about how you can help support Journey Church. Hey, we are so glad that you're with us this morning. Why don't we get started with Journey Church Online?
Can't go back to the beginning. Can't control what tomorrow will bring. But I know here in the middle is the place where you promised to be. I'm not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? As I walk now through the valley, unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again?
Hey, thanks for joining us for week 4 of On Location. Over this series, we've been taking a little bit of time in Landon at some different places in our community that might teach us or help us illustrate some different things that we can learn in our faith. Today, we're on location at LD2 Marketplace. LD2 Marketplace is downtown Jackson, and it's a really unique business because it's really a conglomeration of about 60 different vendors who have some space here, and they sell things that they want you to care for. You know, that's kind of the thing that we've been talking about this week online. Over the past several days on social media, and even in the Facebook Live event that we did just before we got in here, we talked a little bit about some things that moms left with us. Maybe something that you thought was funny, maybe something that you thought was insightful, maybe something that really annoyed you when you were a kid. Why don't you post those things down below? Because those are the things that moms have left us as a legacy. They've left us those phrases. It seems like every time we open up our mouths, our mom comes out. So why don't you post the things that you have lived in the legacy of your life right below? It's a lot like this place. The whole idea of consignment is that we take things that we care for and we give them to someone else expecting that they're gonna take them and give them a second life of caring for them. It's a legacy, and that's what we're talking about today, the legacy that moms have left in our life.
When I was growing up, I went to church a lot. And like many of you who went to church on Mother's Day, we would honor moms. We gave them awards, but we gave them awards for really odd things. Like we gave an award for the youngest mother. We did that for a lot of years, and they kept getting younger and younger, and it kept getting more awkward, so they quit doing that one. But we also gave one for the oldest mom. Usually it was the same really wonderful 132-year-old lady, and we would give her a flower just for continuing to breathe year after year after year. And then we gave one for the mom who had the most children. That was like the reproduce like a rabbit award, you know, just way to go, way to keep on churning them out. And it was just odd. I think we tried. I'm just not sure we always knew what to say to moms. Usually the people who were making those decisions weren't moms. One of the things we want to do today is just say we love and care about our moms in a huge way. While Mother's Day is super meaningful for some of us, would be reticent not to at least mention that for some of us, maybe you're like me, and it doesn't bring it back some of the memories you'd like for to, because maybe your mom is someone who's no longer alive, and this is a day when you long for being able to pick up a phone and make a call or to go see or whatever. If that's you, man, I hate that that's where you are, but sure understand. Or maybe you grew up, and this is one that's hard for me to understand because it's the opposite of my life. Maybe you grew up in a home and your relationship with your mom wasn't a good one. Maybe you don't have great stories to tell because honestly, it may be some of the most painful things that have happened in your life have been a result of that relationship. And if that's you, man, I empathize with, it's hard to imagine the amount of pain that can go with that. Or maybe you're somebody who's dreamt all of their life of being a mom, and for whatever reason, God has not allowed that in your life to this point. And when you watch Mother's Day unfold, you're so happy for so many people, but there is something inside of you that has unfulfilled dreams or hopes. And if that's you, listen, we understand that that's part of your journey, and we hate that for you today. The Bible is filled with all kinds of stuff about moms over the last couple of weeks. I've kind of gotten lost in one place in the Bible, in the book of Deuteronomy. What a weird place for mother talk. Deuteronomy is a book that talks about promises that God gives and people who quickly forgot or disobeyed or got lost in the busyness of their life. and then tried again, and then God promised and people forgot, and over that cycle continued. But there's some amazing words when you get to the 11th chapter of Deuteronomy. I just want to share just a few of them with you. If you think you live in a world that has gone crazy, that is upside down, that the obstacles seem greater than the possibilities sometimes, you'll relate to these words. Maybe you'll be encouraged by them. Let me just read them to you from Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 18 is where we'll start. It says, "So commit yourself wholeheartedly to these words of mine. Tie them to your hands, wear them on your forehead as reminders. Teach them to your children. Talk about them when you're at home, when you're on the road, when you're going to bed, when you're getting up. Write them on the doorpost of your house and on your gates, so that as long as the sky remains above the earth, you and your children may flourish in the land the Lord swore to give your ancestors." It's this amazing promise, and if we could just cut to the chase, what it is saying is, I need you to be good at a lot of things, but I need you to be great at one thing. And if you'll do this, make a big deal out of the words I'm teaching you. Don't let them be your extracurricular. It gives all this crazy word image of saying, write them on your hands and on your forehead, put it on your gates. Let it be your focal point. Let it be the thing that you share the most. And if you do, there's this great promise that you and your children and your family will flourish in the land, no matter how bad the land is, that God is big enough to allow the best things to happen to you as a result of that. So about 2.5 weeks ago, I started thinking about this talk. And I was thinking about this crazy thing of a legacy, that when you make a huge deal out of one thing and a big deal out of everything else, and when it's the right thing, this legacy that you hand down to the next generation. And I was kind of thinking, wonder what's been handed to me. And as I did, I just started making some notes, because I do stupid stuff like that sometimes. And one of the things I've realized, I have been incredibly blessed in the mother department. That I feel like I was given, if you know me very well, you know this is true, the most influential person in my life was my mom growing up. She wasn't the person I was the most like. She wasn't the person who did what I do for a living. That would have been my dad. But she is the one who has most been influential in forming who I am today. And then I grew up in a home with a sister who is a mom and has been for now a lot of years. And I would have never believed what an impact that's made on my life. And then over the course of time, I bumped into in college this young lady, and for the last 37 years, she has been one of the major influences in my life. If there's good things in my world, the three of those people are major influencers that have changed who I am and how I do life. And so if you don't mind, and even if you really do, because we're not going to really change anything, I'd just like to give a couple seconds and just figure out what impact they've made on me, what legacy they've handed off to me. And I just want to say, as moms, maybe you're having that effect on people too. I grew up in a home with a dad who was kind of a big deal in his world. A lot of people knew who he was, and he said smart things and did big things. And then I had a mom who stayed home and for the most part took care of our home and raising kids and all of that stuff. Most people would have seen her as far less influential than my dad. But there's one word that I think for my life best describes her, and it's the word faithfulness. I think my mom is the perfect picture of faithfulness. Now, some of you who are watching this knew my mom. Some of you are part of my family, and some of you have been around my family for a lot of years. And so you would probably agree. You know what she was? She was faithful in everything she did. She was faithful to her vows. She was faithful to her kids and her family. She was faithful to her friends, and she was faithful to her God. That may not sound like such a big deal of a word to you, but I'm just telling you, having watched her in life, it has made me strive to be that person. I don't think I've got it right all the time. I hope I'm getting better at it, but she was faithful. Faithful, simply put, I think she would say she learned this one lesson. Faithfulness, not perfection, was the goal. I think there's such pressure on moms in our world today to be everything to everybody. If you can't be a superhero, if you can't be the best at your job, if you can't be the best in the world, if you can't be current, if you can't be hip, if you can't be beautiful, if you can't be fill in the blank, then you're just not doing your job. And I just want to tell you, one of the things that she's so impressed in my life is she said, I may not be everything, but I will be this one thing. I'll be faithful to my calling. Man, it's influenced me. It makes me want to live that life out. To be perfectly honest, I didn't understand that when I was young. I had no idea that's who she was or what she was doing. But the longer my life has played out, the more I've realized that. So she's a huge hit in my life. Second one is I have a sister. Her name is Kim. Some of you know Kim. And there's one word that I would use to describe her and her impact in my life. I've used a lot of words to describe her. And by the way, she's significantly older than I am. She's my older sister. So I want you guys to know that. By significantly, I mean a lot, maybe like 2 or 3 years, but it feels a long time to me. The one word that describes her to me is the word integrity. I think in my life, I've never realized how often I've tried to pattern myself after her, because for her, I've just noticed throughout her life, whatever you think about anything else in her life, this one thing holds true. I doubt you'll find one person that wouldn't agree with this, is that she holds integrity as at the highest value. I love this definition of integrity. It says it is the choice between what is convenient and what is right. I think that's by Tony Dungy. I love that thought because a lot of people believe in honesty, but integrity is not the same thing. A lot of people have other attributes, but integrity says even when it may cost me something, even when nobody notices, it really is the choice between what is convenient and what is right. And there's a big difference. I know in my life, I've just watched her with insane determination choose not what is gray or what's in the middle, but choose what is right, even when what is not right would be more convenient, more easily done, more accepted, and sometimes even more appreciated. And I love that. I would have never believed growing up that that was impacting my life as much as it has. As I look back, I can just say to her, I can say to you, Kim, what an impact that's made on me, you'll never know. So I've had 2 amazing moms in my life. She wasn't mine, but I've watched her as a mom, and it's done that. And then a third one for me, 38 years ago now, my wife Leslie came into my life. And I have spent a lot of my life trying to emulate some of the things I've seen from her. I'll tell you the area of life that she has so impacted me, and the word that I use for it is the word caring. Leslie is a great carer. I'll be honest, I was born, and my personality and kind of how I grew up wasn't one that caring was valued as much. And I've watched her over the course of time, how deeply she cares for other human beings around her. Not just the ones who are just like her, not just the ones that can give her something she needs, but I watch how much she cares for people every day. There was a part of me, not because I just wanted to be better, but I just saw how effective that was. I saw how many people loved her and cared for her as a result. But it has impacted my life. One of my struggles with the word being more caring or being kind is I kind of grew up in a setting, and maybe a lot of you are that way. I kind of grew up here in the Deep South. And sometimes as a guy, the word kindness almost comes off as kind of a wimpy word. It's a weakness word. I don't think it's true. Here's some things I read this week that I just jotted down that maybe you would think with me. Kindness is not an expression of weakness, it's an expression of strength. Kindness isn't weakness because it means that when you're not kind, you don't have the ability to bridle yourself. Kindness requires restraint. It requires strength. Andy Stanley made this statement this way. He said, kindness is loaning someone your strength instead of reminding them of their weaknesses. Isn't that a great definition? It is loaning somebody your strength instead of choosing to focus on their weaknesses. It takes so much. What I have noticed in my life, and honestly, it's been through my wife, I've actually set out in life and tried to learn to be kind because I don't think it came natural. Learn to have compassion, learn to care for people who are in different spots than me, not because I could get benefit from it, but because it's the right thing to do. And as I've watched that in my life, sometimes I just practice, and I know we're supposed to say, what would Jesus do? But in this regard, I often say, I wonder what Leslie would do at a time like this. I wonder what she would say, because she's just so much better at caring than I am. 3 moms, not my moms, but 3 mothers. And if I were to be honest, those 3 people have had the biggest impacts in my life. And today, if you can find anything good in me, a lot of it is due to their influence in my life. I say all that not because you care so much for my life, but because as I reflect, I finally recognize how much it's impacted me. I guess I would just like to say this. For those of us who have moms around us, don't underestimate the value of what those moms are doing in our world. Don't underestimate what will unfold. Remember back in Deuteronomy when the verses were, if you will put these things as your main things, if you'll write them on your hands and on your forehead and put them on the gates and the pillars of your house, make it a big deal in the morning and in the evening. Don't let it be your add-on feature, but your main thing. Then your children will flourish and so will you. Well, I think it's a pretty big deal in a very dark world right now. And one of the things I love about Journey is how many of you moms, as I watch, you're fighting so hard. You're not perfect in the journey, but you're fighting so hard to be the very best version of you. And I just want you to know we notice, that we get it, that we value that. I know you may feel like all I'm doing right now is going through the 10,000th load of laundry. I'm cooking the same meal for the 100th time. I'm picking up the same bunch of stuff over and over again. I'm chasing down the same kids. I'm getting the same eye rolls over and over. And I just want to tell you, you may not know, but you are leaving a legacy behind. For those of us who have moms around us, we can take you out to eat. We can give them a present. We can do those things. I think those are great. Don't stop doing those. It's Mother's Day. This might be a good run at that. If you didn't know it was coming, you've still got a few hours left. But maybe the way we can best honor those moms in our life, here's a thought. How about if we did it through faithfulness? How about those of us who have moms around us would just be faithful, that what we say is what we do. We'll be faithful in our vows. We'll be faithful in our love. We'll be faithful in following through with the things we said we'll do. And maybe we'll add integrity to that mix. If you want to value the moms around you, your integrity will inspire them more than you'd ever dream, because it's been their dream for you all along. Not just when it's convenient, but to have integrity in everything you do. And then the last one, I know it's a crazy thought, and if you're like me, it's something you have to train for. You won't just do it naturally. How about we just up our kindness? That we find a way to share our strength with them instead of looking for their weakness. Because honestly, it's exactly what Jesus built us for. It's what we were meant to do. And I want to finish by saying this to moms. Whatever you're doing, if you feel like we're in a consignment shop, one of our thoughts was that consignment means that you take something and you pass it on for another use or another generation. And if you feel like what you're doing just seems to be going around in circles and you wonder if it makes any difference at all, I just want to say, as someone who has had 3 moms who've impacted their life so much, I just want to say, don't underestimate what you're doing. Don't underestimate why God put you where He did. You matter, and what you're doing matters. The other side of it, I'll tell you, you may not be able to measure it in the short run. For me, I'm not sure I ever was able to share with my mom as effectively then as I could now, because sometimes until the next chapter is written, until life unfolds a little bit more, we don't realize how big an impact that someone has made. So can I say this to you? If you don't have the perfect house, and if you don't have a career that makes $1 billion, and if you don't get everything right, you know what you can do? You can make the main thing, and you can write these things on your hands and on your forehead. And you can teach your children, and you can love them, and you can deal with faithfulness and integrity and caring. And God promised you this. I'll just read it one more time. So commit yourselves wholeheartedly to these words of mine. Then you and your children will flourish in the land. Say a prayer for you, and then we'll close. So God, for the moms who are tired, and they've been chasing and they've been trying, and sometimes it doesn't seem to be working, could you grant them just that little bit extra grace? Could you give them just enough vision to recognize that what they're doing matters? And there's so many around us who are doing such a great job. Can they be encouraged today? for those of us who love moms? Can we give them the gift or the card or the thing, but could mostly we give them the gift of becoming the people we're supposed to become? Can we loan them our strength instead of finding their weakness? Can they find value and honor from the people around them? Because I know that's how you see them. And may you help both them and their children to flourish in the land. And we know it can be because you promised it and you are still good for your promises. We ask it in your name. Amen. Happy Mother's Day.
Man, that's powerful stuff because we all want our children to flourish in the land of our families and our community. Man, I'm thrilled that you've been able to spend part of Mother's Day with us here online. I mean, to be honest with you, this isn't what we exist for. We are not a church that exists to help people take their next step toward going to church online. We are a church that exists to help people take their next step toward Jesus. So everything we do, including meeting online, is really intended to that end. One of the things that's so important to us being able to keep doing everything that we're doing to reach people is giving. Giving has never been more crucial to Journey Church than it is right this very moment. So what I'd love to do is challenge you to just take a moment this week and go to ourjourney.com and click on Give Online. It's a vital way to help us help people take their next step, but it's also, and probably even more importantly, a great way for you to take your next step toward Jesus. Hey, while you're here, make sure that you check out some of the resources that are here on Facebook to help you take next steps. There are 3 primary pages that are very important. Our Journey Church page, make sure you like and follow that. And also our 412 Students and Journey Kids pages are important parts of helping your family take their next step. It's a lot of what Chris was talking about today, helping your kids flourish in the land of their life and in their community. So we're thrilled that you were here today. Thank you for being a part of week 4 of On Location. We'll see next week where we'll be on location. We'll see you then.